You ever have one of those moments where it feels like life stops making sense? Not because betrayal kicks your door down, but because it just strolls right in, wearing the face of someone you trusted the most. That's exactly how the night started for me, the night everything changed. My name's Jack Hamilton. I'm 36 years old and work as a project manager for a mid-sized construction company out here in Washington. I'm a grinder, not flashy, not loaded with cash, just dependable, steady. I'm the kind of guy who's up before the sun, sitting on the porch at 5:40 in the morning, drinking strong, bitter coffee, and checking off the day's list before most folks are even awake. My life was built on simple blueprints. Work hard, save your money, marry a good woman, build a family. I thought I was doing everything right. At the time, I was engaged to Maya Brooks, a sweethearted, 28-year-old elementary school counselor. She had this gentle way about her, the kind of woman who'd pick wildflowers on a walk and stick them in random coffee mugs around the house. She believed in things like emotional intelligence, star signs, and always writing out birthday cards by hand. We had a fall wedding planned. A cozy little venue tucked into the woods. Handwritten vows. A playlist full of songs that made us feel seen and understood. At least, that's what I believed. And then there was my younger brother, Ryan Hamilton, 29 years old. Gym rat. Instagram favorite. Personal trainer who built his brand around six-pack abs and hashtags. Cocky as they come. And without a doubt, our mom's golden boy. Our mother, Natalie, she's 62 now, used to work in mortgage consulting. These days, she mostly spends her time posting spiritual advice on Facebook and butting into everybody's business like it's her full-time job. Her greatest talent? Making compliments sound like criticism and love feel like something you owed her back. She'd laugh and tell people, Jack's always been the responsible one, while pouring them another glass of wine. Too responsible, she'd add, like it was some kind of flaw. She always joked that I needed to loosen up and be more like Ryan. Alive, she'd say, like it was funny. It never was. At first, Maya thought Mom was a hoot. Your mom's intense, she said once, but she's just passionate. Passionate, huh? Yeah, passionate about reminding me that I was never quite enough. Meanwhile, Ryan soaked up every bit of her affection like a sponge left in gasoline, quick, hot, and reckless. Cocky, grinning, entitled. The kind of guy who, after a few drinks, would start talking about himself in third person. Ryan doesn't chase, baby. Ryan chooses. I wish I was joking. Even with them hanging around the edges of my life, things were mostly good. Maya and I still had our little routines, quiet mornings, late-night takeout, those quick glances across the room that said, you're my person. But something underneath it all started to turn. It didn't happen all at once. It rotted slow, like a foundation cracking beneath a house you thought was solid. The first crack showed up during one of Natalie's Sunday family dinners. She leaned across the table, grinning at Maya, and said, have you seen Ryan's arms lately? Your fiancé works hard, sure, but Ryan's body, now that's dedication. That's what it looks like when a man has his priorities straight. Maya gave a nervous little laugh. Me? I didn't think it was funny. Later that night, I asked Maya if my mom always talked like that about Ryan. She just shrugged and said, that's just Natalie. She likes pushing people's buttons. But after that, I noticed things shifting. Maya's phone would light up more often. Her smiles became harder to read. Our conversations felt thinner, stretched out and brittle. She started stepping out to take more calls, quick to say it was a colleague or a friend, but she never offered much detail after. I didn't want to let suspicion get the better of me. I didn't want to believe anything was wrong. Not until the truth smacked me right in the face. And it did. It happened on a Friday. I finished a job early, a miracle in itself, and decided to swing by Natalie's place. Maya was supposed to be there, going over wedding plans with her. I pulled up to the curb and headed toward the porch. The window was open just a crack, and that's when I heard it. Voices. Low, close, dangerous. I know Jack's a good man, Maya was saying, but sometimes it feels like I'm just waiting for him to notice me again. I felt my chest tighten up. Then Natalie's voice came, soft and coaxing. Don't feel bad about it. You and Ryan make sense. You laugh more with him. You light up around him. Silence. And then Maya whispered. He understands me in ways Jack never could. I didn't storm in right then. I stood there, frozen, my world caving in on itself. The woman I was planning a future with, and my own mother, easing her into the arms of my brother. When I finally walked through the door, Natalie was standing there, looking smug like she'd just won something. Maya, on the other hand, looked caught between guilt and something even worse, want. All I could manage to say, sharp and quiet, was, "How long?" Neither of them answered. So I looked Maya square in the eyes and said, "Show me your phone." She hesitated, and that hesitation said everything I needed to know. I didn't punch anyone. I didn't yell. I just turned around and walked out. They struck the match. I was the one who'd end up burning everything to the ground. That night, I didn't sleep. I just laid there, staring up at the ceiling fan spinning slow and steady, ticking off the last seconds before the whole world went up in smoke. My chest felt like a black hole, hollow and crushing at the same time. Somewhere down the hall, in the guest room, Maya cried. But I didn't go to her. Not anymore. She wasn't crying for me. Maybe not even for herself. Just crying. I didn't move. By sunrise, I packed a bag. Not because I was giving up, because I finally saw things clearly. I needed to move like water. Calm. Relentless. I left a note on the counter. You made your choice. Don't text me unless it's about giving back the ring. It took 4 days before anyone broke the silence. Ryan called first. I didn't answer. Then he texted, "Let's talk, bro. You don't know the whole story." No, I didn't. But I planned to. First call I made wasn't to a buddy. It was to Lucas Rivera, a former client turned private investigator. Guy helped me once bust a shady roofing contractor a few years back. Quiet. Sharp. Owed me a favor. I gave him a name. Ryan Hamilton. Told him to dig deep. Finances, business, socials, legal, everything. And to keep it quiet. Next, I paid a visit to my old man, David Hamilton, a guy who had retreated from life so hard he might as well have been furniture. He sat out on the porch, sipping whiskey, watching squirrels like they were somehow better company than his own kids. "I heard," he said when I walked up. "No, how are you?" "No, I'm sorry." Just that. I nodded. "And you let Mom pull this?" He sighed. "She's strong-willed." "No," I shot back. "She's toxic. And you've been letting her wreck things like it's a sport." He didn't argue. "I'm not laying down this time," I told him. "I want you to know that." For the first time in a long while, he actually looked up. And for once, there was something almost like pride in his tired old eyes. "About time," he said. A week later, Maya officially moved out. I came home to an empty, echoing house. Drawers left half open. A few mugs still hanging on hooks. Her smell still hanging in the curtains. But I didn't grieve. I documented every charge on our joint credit card, every unpaid gift, every single receipt. 3 days later, Lucas called. "You were right to be suspicious," he said. Then he laid it all out. Ryan wasn't just a walking ego, he was a full-blown fraud. His supplement company? Selling expired products in new packaging. Client reviews? Half of them were fake. He didn't even have proper licenses in 2 counties, and there were rumors about unpaid debts and gag orders from exes. Lucas lowered his voice. "He's a time bomb, Jack." Good, I thought. Real good. I spent the next month stockpiling everything: screenshots, voice recordings, receipts, client complaints, all dated, time-stamped, organized like a damn battle plan. At work, I kept my head down and pushed harder. Got promoted to senior project manager. Bigger jobs. Better pay. My boss shook my hand and said, "You earned it, Jack. You're the guy who doesn't flinch." I smiled. Practice makes perfect. But even then, Natalie kept trying. She called, said I was being childish. Told me Ryan and Maya were just meant to be, that chemistry doesn't lie. Maybe not. But neither does betrayal. I hung up on her. Later, she texted, "Family's about forgiveness. Don't isolate yourself." I answered, "You picked your side before the war even started. Hope it was worth it." Then came the first crack. A client of Ryan's, a girl named Sophie Grant, posted on her fitness blog about getting sick from some spoiled pre-workout powder he sold her. Tagged his brand and everything. Within 24 hours, 4 more people came forward. I anonymously sent all the dirt I had to the Department of Consumer Safety and the Health Licensing Board. Tipped off a fitness podcast that loved exposing fake influencers, too. They jumped on it. Then I turned my sights on Natalie's little real estate empire. All those glowing reviews? Lucas found out at least 38 of them came from fake accounts traced back to her IP address. Perfect. I sent the proof to the real estate board, and while I was at it, I let a few high-profile buyers she'd once scammed know exactly what was up. The cracks in her kingdom started spreading. And just when I thought maybe, just maybe, I could breathe, Maya showed up at my front door. No call. No warning. Just standing there, looking different. Not bad. Just hollow. Smaller somehow. I heard about Ryan, she said softly. And about your mom. Is it true? I didn't answer. Just stepped aside and let her in. She looked around like the walls might still remember her. I didn't know he was like that, she whispered. You didn't care to know, I said. He looked shiny. I looked tired. That's all it took. Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. It wasn't about that. Yes, it was. You wanted fireworks, I said. I was busy building you a lighthouse. She crumpled a little, right there in my living room. I miss what we had. I crossed my arms. You miss the safety. You miss someone who caught you every time you fell. I shook my head. That's not love, Maya. That's fear of falling. She left in tears. I watched from the window until she disappeared around the corner. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt ready. The storm was here, and I was standing dead center in the eye of it. A few more weeks passed after Maya's visit. Her tears didn't fuel me. I wasn't chasing closure anymore. I wasn't even looking for apologies. I wanted something bigger. I wanted impact. The kind that rumbles under people's feet and still echoes when they sit down for dinner years later. I wanted every single one of those smirking faces to go pale just at the mention of my name. So, I kept going. Lucas's reports kept piling up. Ryan's brand, Hamilton Fuel, was now officially under investigation. After my tip, health authorities flagged his shady supplement warehouse. They raided his garage, hauled away samples, and froze all his sales. But I wasn't finished. I tracked down the distributors he used, the ones who didn't care what harmful products they were selling as long as the checks cleared. I created a burner account, posed as a potential business partner, recorded every sketchy call, saved every incriminating text. Then I handed it all over. Legal violations, backdoor payments, fake lab results, straight to the state fraud division. I covered every angle, left him nowhere to hide. By the end of the second month, Ryan's gym sponsors dropped him. Fitness pages that used to share his posts? They started roasting him instead. Full exposés calling him out for putting people's health at risk. He tried to fight back. Even posted some teary-eyed selfie about being betrayed by someone close. But the internet? It eats weakness alive. Comments ripped him apart. His followers bailed by the thousands. Then the IRS showed up. Turns out Ryan had been dodging self-employment taxes for 2.5 straight years. Fake write-offs. Claimed gym equipment he didn't even own. Another anonymous package, full of financial inconsistencies and shady money trails, found its way to the right desk. And just like that, the news tightened. Meanwhile, Natalie's so-called real estate empire started to crumble too. That perfect image she clung to? I shattered it piece by piece. Her brokerage, Horizon Realty, got slammed with formal complaints. One client had been overcharged on a property Natalie flipped using a contractor she forgot to mention was being sued. I connected the dots for them real nicely. An internal audit was launched. Her social media following? It started to shrink. I made sure the local real estate gossip pages caught wind of her ghost reviews and shady sales records. Lucas confirmed at least 38 of her glowing 5-star reviews were fake, all traced back to her own IP address. Some even used the same cheesy phrases. Her license? Suspended for 5 months while they dug deeper. Her reputation? Wrecked beyond repair. And Maya? Well, the cracks in her and Ryan's little fantasy started splitting wide open. I knew, because I made sure I had eyes everywhere. Emily, a part-time receptionist at Ryan's gym, messaged me through my burner account. I'd pretended to be a journalist poking around. They fight all the time, she said. Bad. Like screaming matches in the parking lot. Good. They deserve the chaos. One night, as rain hammered against my windows, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. I know it's you, Jack. Stop hiding. You're destroying my life. Is this really who you are now? I didn't bother replying. Instead, I posted one anonymous comment under Ryan's last crumbling Instagram post. When you steal someone's future, don't be surprised when they steal yours. The next day, Maya called. For the first time since everything blew up, I picked up. I made a mistake, she whispered. No, I said, you made a series of them. I was manipulated, she said. Your mom twisted things. She told me lies about you. Said you'd be like your father, always absent. I didn't argue. Didn't need to. Ryan isn't who I thought he was, she added, her voice breaking. I let out a quiet chuckle. He never was. You just liked how he sparkled. Silence. I want to make things right, she said. Not with you, just with myself. I don't like who I became. Then don't become it again, I said. That's the only advice you're getting from me. She hung up without saying goodbye. Days later, Ryan posted a black square on Instagram, claiming he was taking a mental health break. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, his brand was imploding. Lawsuits were stacking up. Clients were backing out. As for Natalie, she called me. "You've gone too far, Jack," she snapped. "I know it's you. People are talking." I stayed silent. "You've ruined your brother's future," she screamed. "No," I said, voice calm as a lake. "You ruined my present. I just leveled the scales. This family will never forgive you." She spat. "Good," I said. "Means I finally did something right." Then I blocked her number. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because there's a certain silence after destruction, a heavy, eerie quiet. The kind where even the people you leveled realize they're standing in the ashes. And when that silence comes, they always crawl back. Ryan was first. He showed up outside my job, waiting in the parking lot like a lost kid. Arms crossed. Eyes glassy and desperate. He looked thinner, smaller, broken. "Talk to me," he said. "You win, okay? You win. Just stop." "You think this was a game?" I asked. "No, he stammered. "I was stupid, okay? I didn't think it would go this far. I didn't think I didn't think she would take it there. She told me you didn't care about Maya anymore. Said you were seeing someone else." I stared him down. "And you believed her?" He nodded, shame written all over his face. "Then you're even more mistaken than I thought." He stepped closer. His voice broke. "I lost everything. You made sure of that." "No," I corrected him. "You torched your own life. I just handed you the match." He stood there a minute, trembling, before turning and walking away. It could have been sad, if it wasn't justice. That night, I met up with Hannah for drinks. She was one of the engineers I worked with sometimes. Smart, calm under pressure, no drama. Exactly what I needed. She didn't talk in circles. Hannah was the kind of person who said what she meant, liked her whiskey neat, and hated small talk. We spent the night talking about architecture, the ocean, and what it really means to walk away from people who expect you to stay broken just so they feel whole. "I used to think I was weak for leaving my ex," she told me once, swirling her glass. "You were strong enough to rebuild," I said back. "That's not weakness. That's survival." By the end of that night, something in me shifted. I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted peace. But I knew real peace doesn't come in silence. It comes after the storm. 3.5 months had passed since I kicked the first domino over. And now, everything they had built, all the lies, the masks, the fake smiles, was nothing but rubble. Ryan was broke. Not the tight month kind of broke. Flatline broke. His accounts were frozen. His gym was locked up tight with big red health warnings slapped across the glass doors. The lawsuits piled up like parking tickets he couldn't afford to pay. The expired supplement scandal? It blew up. His name was all over Reddit fitness forums, and not in a good way. Hamilton fuel fraud became a meme for a while. Natalie wasn't faring much better. Stripped of her real estate license and her so-called reputation, she spent her days firing off bitter, passive-aggressive tweets about toxic sons and family betrayals. Horizon Realty, the brokerage she once boasted about, severed ties with her in an instant. And Maya? She was still technically with Ryan, but barely. Their cutesy couple posts dried up. No more motivational captions. No more curated date nights. From what I heard through an old college buddy of hers, she was job hunting in another city. She doesn't even bring him up anymore, the friend said. Just regrets. But I wasn't keeping tabs because I missed any of them. I watched because I had one last card to play. And it wasn't fire this time, it was sunlight. You see, they weren't sorry. They were cornered. Big difference. They didn't regret what they did, just that they got caught. I wanted the world to see that. So I compiled it all. Every screenshot. Every flirty text between Ryan and Maya from back when she was still supposed to be marrying me. Photos of Ryan's shady supplement operation. Audio clips of Natalie coaching Maya to explore her passion with Ryan. Copies of fake reviews. Traces back to Natalie's IP address. Everything. I uploaded it all to a public Google Drive folder labeled simply, "This is what happens when you betray blood." I didn't post it on my socials. I didn't even hint it was me. I just sent the link quietly to one person, Zoe Carter, a mid-tier YouTuber from Seattle who had made a name for herself exposing fake gurus, scammy influencers, and fraudsters. Zoe loved a good takedown. And within 24 hours, she uploaded a video. The shocking truth behind Hamilton fuel and real estate queen Natalie Hamilton exposed. 500,000 views in 4 days. The comment section was a wildfire. "Bro, this Ryan guy is a literal sociopath. Can we talk about how the MOM put her son's fiancé in such an awkward position with his brother? This is like a full Netflix drama. Jack, whoever you are, you're a real hero. They didn't know my name. They didn't need to. The truth spoke loud enough. And then something happened that I never saw coming. My dad called me. Not a vague text. Not a half-hearted voicemail. A real call. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. I left her, he said as soon as I picked up. You what? I asked, caught off guard. I moved out. Signed papers. Got myself a little apartment downtown. Small, but quiet. I sat there stunned. Why now? There was a long pause. Then his voice cracked, raw and real in a way I hadn't heard since I was a kid. Because for the first time in my life, he said, I saw what courage really looked like. And it didn't look like standing still. It looked like walking away. We ended up talking for over an hour. Not about Mom. Not about Ryan. Just life. He asked about my work. About Hannah. About where I saw myself next. And when the call ended, I didn't feel heavy like I thought I would. I felt lighter. Like a door I didn't know I was leaning against finally swung open. The next few weeks were small, quiet victories. Hannah and I started taking little weekend trips, driving down the Washington coast, hitting up wine country, renting lakeside cabins where the nights were still and the mornings smelled like pine and coffee. She never pried about Maya, but she let me talk when I needed to. And when I didn't, she just stayed close, legs tucked under her, tea in her hands, calm and steady. One night, sitting by a fire, I said it out loud. I never really wanted revenge. Hannah smiled, small and knowing. I think you wanted dignity, she said. And you took it back. That hit me harder than she knew. And just when I thought the last embers were out, another spark showed up. An email. From Maya. Not a call. Not a text. Just a plain subject line. I need to say this. I stared at it for a while before clicking. Jack. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. And maybe this is selfish, but I need to say what I never said before. I was weak. I let Natalie get in my head. I let fear and vanity and stupid dreams get in my way. She told me you'd be like your dad. That you'd always leave. That Ryan saw me, and you didn't. But you always saw me. You just didn't make a performance out of it. Ryan was a firework. You were a lighthouse. And I ran toward the firework, not realizing it would burn out. I don't expect forgiveness. I'm not asking for another chance. I just wanted you to know. I see it now. I see you. Thank you for loving me. Even when I didn't deserve it. I hope you find someone who does. I read it once. Then again. Then deleted it. Because closure isn't an email. Closure is the sound of your own heart beating steady again. A month later, Ryan's bankruptcy filing went public. His empire, whatever was left of it, was officially dead. Natalie? She moved in with a friend out of town. Word was she was thinking about changing her name to dodge her internet reputation. And me? I moved, too. To a new apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of the city skyline. Clean walls. Clean slate. Hannah helped me set up the office. We painted the walls together, taking breaks on the balcony to watch the sunset. One night, she leaned against the railing and said, "You're not angry anymore." I nodded. No, not angry. Just finished. 5 months rolled by. The wreckage behind me finally turned to dust. Ryan faded from the internet, picking up shifts at some low-rent gym 2 towns over where nobody cared about old abs or canceled brands. Natalie? She sold the house. Became a ghost. No clients. No legacy. And me? I was finally free. There was no spotlight waiting for them. No redemption arc. Just bitter Facebook posts and half-hearted attempts to patch up reputations that nobody wanted anything to do with anymore. And Maya? She moved. No one really knew where exactly. Last anyone heard, she was waitressing somewhere near Eugene. Keeping her head down. Trying to start over, maybe? Even her old friends said she wasn't the same. She looks tired, someone told me once. Like someone carrying a lot of regret. But by then, I wasn't watching anymore. I wasn't tracking their falls. I was too busy climbing my own mountain. Work gave me a new project, supervising a multi-million-dollar development. A huge step. And it wasn't because I talked a good game. It was because I earned their trust the hard way, by showing up, delivering, and keeping my word when it counted. Other firms came knocking too, throwing offers at me. But I stayed. Not because I couldn't go, but because, for the first time in years, I had roots. Hannah stayed too. We didn't rush into anything. Didn't slap a label on what we were building. We just let it grow. Some nights we cooked simple meals together. Other nights, we just sat out on the balcony in silence, listening to the city hum around us. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't bracing for the other shoe to drop. I wasn't scanning for disaster. I was just there, breathing, living. One evening, as we stood shoulder to shoulder watching the city lights blink and stretch into the dark, Hannah turned to me and asked, "If you could go back, undo all of it, would you?" I didn't even have to think. "No," I said. "I wouldn't. Because without all of it, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the wreckage, I never would have found this version of myself." She smiled at that. A real smile. The kind that says she understood. "The one who stands tall," she said quietly. "The one who doesn't kneel for people who don't deserve him. The people who betrayed me thought I would break. And maybe for a while, I thought so too. But I didn't. I bent. I burned. And then I rebuilt. Better. Quieter. Stronger.